Support for this podcast comes from Progressive, America's #1 boat insurer. We've all made mistakes on the water, but there's one mistake you shouldn't make: being uninsured. With Progressive Boat Insurance, you can choose coverage for most mistakes you or other boaters could make, helping you float carefree all season long. Quote today: Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. #1 rating based on 2024 filings with state departments of insurance.
Adobe Radio. The future of alternative.
Welcome to the United States of America.
Global woman, radioactive sites, imperialistic wrongs, and animal rights. No!
Adobe Radio.
It's news to us.
It's news to us live on Adobe Radio. The week of May the 4th be with you. 2026, Eddie and Jason hanging out live on Adobe Radio. Have we ever had a Ramone on the show before?
I don't believe so.
We've never interviewed the Ramones.
Not that I can recall.
Well, that's about to change.
Yeah.
Tonight. CJ Ramone is going to be on the show. He has a podcast called CJ Says, and it's all about all things Ramones, the band that created the punk movement or is credited with. So this should be pretty cool to have a real-life Ramone on the show. That's pretty big.
That's pretty cool. My question, I don't know if you know, but is CJ Ramone a family member of the Ramones?
So CJ Ramone was a Marine, and he was brought into the band and played with them for like the last 10 years or something. So he's not an original member, but he did take on the last name Ramone. He changed his name. Okay. He's sort of like an adopted Ramone, if you will.
Oh, that's awesome. So, yeah, that's so cool, though.
And he brought new life to the Ramones during their final years. That's what the other band members said. But we can get into that with CJ here in a bit. Looking forward to that. Jason, how are you over there? Before we get to the top stories of the week.
Oh, doing great. We got to we went to the Avs game last night, the first game of the second round. So that was a lot of fun. I don't know if you got to watch any of it, but an exciting game. And
the Colorado Avalanche.
Yes.
Against the LA Minnesota Vikings.
Oh, my God.
Timberwolves, excuse me.
Oh, my God.
I mean, the Flying V's.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
But, yeah, arguably the two best teams left in the playoffs.
The Minnesota Wild, excuse me.
Yeah.
But
you had to Google that quickly,
I did have to Google it. I just don't watch hockey ever, but,
yeah.
I'm glad the Avs are doing good. That's good.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun.
You're wearing an Avalanche hat. Big fan.
Yeah, man. Big fan.
What was the final tab on all the beers that you bought at the game? Because they're pretty expensive. You buy one and it's like $50.
No. I think I had 2. No, I had 3 beers, and Katie had a drink. So
okay.
Yeah, we probably spent $100 between that and food.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna guess
45, 60. Yeah, probably about $100.
Probably about $100.
Yeah.
But enjoy that while
great
you can.
time.
Yeah, everybody needs to have as much fun as possible because with the Strait of Hormuz and all the craziness happening there, things are going to get ugly here in the United States.
Yeah, I just filled up today and gas was $4.50.
Oh. Well, let's talk about the economic impact of the Strait of Hormuz. And you're going to want to hear this before we talk to CJ Ramone because it's really actually kind of scary. And we're here to frighten you because we're the media. The media likes to frighten.
Oh, my God. I don't have a pen. Oh, I found one.
Oh, yeah. I need a pen, too. Let me hit this news roundup button. Let me find a pen.
Hit the button.
It's news to us. News roundup.
All right, there we go. I got a pen. So the Strait of Hormuz. Why does this always mess me up? It's not Hormuz though. So we were talking about this last week. Some people say Hormuz. Some say Hormuz. What do you say?
Hormuz.
Okay, well, I guess we can go with that. The Strait of Hormuz usually carries about 20 million barrels of oil per day. That's 20% of the global petroleum liquids,
Ooh.
according to the U.S. Energy Information Administration.
And that's a lot of oil, Eddie.
Yeah. Yeah.
A lot
so
of oil.
We're talking about, not only that, 1/5 of global trade moves through this strait too, mostly from Qatar. LNG trade does. And this is a highly important strait for the entire world economy. And with it being shut down, there are ripple effects that we're going to start to feel here in America. And it's going to actually be pretty ugly as far as the effects on the entire world economy. Remember, like during COVID, there were those problems with the shipping containers and.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think there was a lot of problems with just getting stuff, around the globe via shipping containers, and then the Suez Canal was blocked. Remember when the Suez Canal was blocked a few years ago?
Yeah.
Really kind of stops everything. It's like a big dance out there, Eddie.
Yeah.
The global trade market's a big dance.
It's a big dance. Oil's going to get more and more expensive because we've run out of options when it comes to pulling levers to kind of mitigate how expensive it could be. And pretty soon, these big prices that we're seeing now are going to look like nothing. That's what they're saying, what economists are saying. Let's hope they're wrong. Let's hope that something happens. But it's going to get pretty bad because when gas prices are that expensive, that affects the trucking industry. And this country relies on the trucking industry to get pretty much everything that you have at the grocery store, everything that you like to buy. And there's going to be shortages of a lot of different things.
The world runs on oil. And, do you think these companies are going to eat the fuel charges?
Yeah.
Or are they going to pass this on to...
Oh, yeah. Everything's going to get
wholesalers
way more expensive.
Yeah, it's all going to come down to us.
Higher groceries, flights, deliveries are going to be more expensive. Like your Amazon packages are going to cost more to come to you.
Yeah. I mean, literally everything.
Literally everything is about to get even way more expensive at a time when Americans can't afford jack shit. So,
well, I will say Amazon packages are delivered mostly with EV trucks now.
All
so
right.
maybe it'll be cheaper with Amazon. Maybe this is all a long ploy from Bezos.
Well, those EV trucks would be great if we had wind power, but there is a war on wind happening right now. We were actually supposed to have a lot more wind farms built in this last year or so, but the Trump administration has spent $2 billion blocking the construction of new wind farms.
Oh,
They've
really?
spent $2 billion to block
it.
And this all stems from, so DJT, he has a golf course in Ireland and he doesn't like the view because there's wind farms in the background. So then he started to talk shit about wind farms and he said that wind farms are terrible, they're inefficient, they kill birds all the time.
Oh, Jesus.
So he's had it out for wind farms because of what happened at this Trump golf course. So, and then, now he's the president and drill baby drill, there's all that. So it's sad because wind energy is a beautiful thing. And it doesn't kill that many birds. Okay.
Yeah.
Just a few, 100,000 a day. It's not that.
We got plenty of birds out there.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. But anyways, are you worried about the impact on the economy? And are you already feeling the pinch? Because I went to go pay off my credit card the other day and I was like, holy shit, why? I've never seen it this high. This stuff is sneaking up on me.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, everything's getting more expensive. That's for sure. A lot of people are feeling it, doing less things, right? You're not going out as much. And, I mean, that's my experience, right? Like you go out and like you don't see as many people out.
Mm-hmm. Are you?
So I
Are
think
you
we're all
like?
gonna.
I think what we're gonna have to do is just kind of remember what it was like when we were first starting out. You know,
Yeah.
in our 20s, all eating macaroni and cheese and buying 30 racks of PBR.
Oh man.
That should hold me
Yikes.
over.
Yeah, that'll be 3 days.
And that plastic vodka, that
Oh.
skull vodka, whatever the hell. it's
Skull
called.
or was it Gilby's?
Oh, I mean, so
McCormick's?
there are ways to be frugal, but let's hope we
Yeah,
can.
that's gonna be
yeah.
expensive too. Oh my god.
Let's hope we can even get our hands on the macaroni and cheese and the cheap vodka. I mean, that cheap vodka, if the supply chain is disrupted this much, it might be like $500 for one of those plastic bottles.
Oh man, I don't even know if they make them anymore.
Oh, I'm sure they do.
But
you're
things
just
are
not-
gonna get tighter, Eddie. Things are gonna get more expensive, and you're gonna have to be more careful and more aware of everything.
Yeah.
Going out to eat, going to the grocery store, going to pay for gas, like it's all going to be more expensive.
Yeah, and everybody's pissed. This is the first time that DJT's disapproval rating has been this high. 62% of Americans are now pissed off, which is still not high enough.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's so high.
62%, so more than half. And you're seeing a lot of these MAGA voters being regretful about their decision. He basically, that comedian Jim Brewer, you remember him? He was in.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, he turned out to be like a MAGA wacko.
Yeah, I'm always surprised with some
Yeah.
people who turn out to be MAGA.
Well, now he's on TikTok and he is regretting that he voted for Trump because he's calling out all the lies and all the broken promises. So there's one guy that was MAGA and now is not.
Tucker Carlson, I think we touched on that, but he's now non-MAGA and said that he was fooled and swindled.
Bamboozled?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's speaking out about it.
Yeah.
Joe Rogan.
Yeah. Joseph Rogan.
Yeah. Your good friend.
Yeah, absolutely. The midterms are coming up, so don't forget that, everybody. Make sure you're registered to vote because there's going to be a lot of fuckery with that. Little preview of the midterms. Democrats do hold an edge while Republicans are, they're worried because Democrats are using gerrymandering against, they're playing their own game against them.
Yeah.
They decided
As
that
they
they
should.
would fight fire with fire. So Democrats are feeling cautiously optimistic, holding a 6-point average in generic congressional ballot polling. And that's boosted by Trump's historic unpopularity that we just mentioned. And Democrats' chance of winning the House keeps going up, and it's looking pretty good there. Of course, you don't want to get too comfortable with this stuff. Vote, vote, vote. The Senate is going to be a little bit harder for the Democrats, but it's becoming increasingly more possible as the days go on. And we'll be covering the midterms live, Jason.
Live. Doing it live.
That'll be fun.
Yeah, I mean, it can be fun. I don't know.
Yeah.
I remember when Trump was elected last time, and that was that was a rough night.
But you want to be surrounded by your friends. So
It was a rough night to be broadcasting, though. I'll say that.
I know. Well, we're going to do it again. So
That's when we had to be real newsmen.
we did. And we were like, okay. And we see the whole map turn red, and we're like, wait a second.
Yeah. I think my monitor's broken.
Yeah. But for midterms 2026, don't forget that Adobe Radio will have live coverage right here, and we'll be right here with you live all night talking about the races in real time. So that'll be fun.
That will be fun.
What else is going on? What else should we try to mention before CJ Ramone gets on during our news roundup, Jason?
Well, you mentioned gerrymandering.
Yeah.
The Supreme Court, they're looking at gerrymandering.
Right.
And right. So, I mean, states are scrambling, parties are scrambling. I don't know.
I think so. The Supreme Court just made it so gerrymandering is now constitutional. I believe that they made they're calling on that.
Oh, did they?
They did, yeah. Yeah, they went ahead and said that gerrymandering can happen. So
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, they declared it a non-justiciable, political question. No,
that
no,
what?
nope, justiciable.
Where is that?
Justiciable? I don't know.
Justiciable? How do you spell it? Where
I'm
is
going
this
to put it in the
word?
chat for you. I'm going to put it in the chat.
How come I don't see this on the prep?
It's not on the prep. We're ad-libbing here.
You just made up a word?
No, we're ad-libbing.
Oh, okay.
Here's the word.
Justifiable. In the chat.
In the chat.
Justiciable.
Justiciable?
Yeah, that's what I would say. Non-justiciable. I've never seen that word before. That's weird. Justiciable. Yeah.
Oh,
It's spelled very weird though. Huh.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's making harder to challenge maps and shifting toward accepting partisan-driven district lines.
Right. So they're basically saying gerrymandering. They're already good to go.
They're good to go, and they're already like talking about doing it like in the South, like Georgia, and
right
now you have blue states that are going to be combating that. California's already doing it, and now Illinois is threatening. I think Colorado's threatening. Number of states.
Well, if everybody were to go ahead and gerrymander, then it would be a completely different situation. But let's hit a break, and then we'll get to our guest. CJ Ramone is joining the show. We can't wait to talk to CJ. Yes.
Can I say one last thing about gerrymandering? I think it's bullshit altogether. I think it sucks.
Well,
I do.
Let's hit a quick break, and then CJ Ramone, he's standing by. He's in the green room right now, and then we're going to talk to CJ about his new podcast, CJ Says. We'll be back here live on iDobe Radio in 2 minutes. Don't go anywhere.
It's news to us with Eddie and Jason.
The one and only CJ Ramone is joining us, Jason. Very excited. The bassist and vocalist who stepped into the Ramones in 1989 after Dee Dee's departure and stayed with Joey, Johnny, and Marky through the band's 1996 retirement. The Ramones, of course, are one of punk's foundational bands. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame says that they coalesced punk into a movement, and now CJ is opening the vault with CJ Says, a Ramones podcast. It's a weekly deep dive into the Ramones' history, albums, road stories, legacy with his co-host, Matt Stocks. And he's joining us right now, I believe. Let's bring him in. Hello, CJ. How are you?
All right, fellas. How's it going?
Good. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for taking the time to talk with us. We really do appreciate it.
All right. Good to be here.
So you got this new podcast, CJ Says. How many episodes deep are we now?
I think we got 2 up live this week. I think will be the 3rd one. You'd have to check with my producer because I pay no attention other than the deep dives and the interviews we're doing. But I think it's episode number 3 coming up.
Okay, so in this podcast, CJ Says, it's a great title because for decades, fans have heard the legacy of Ramones from every possible angle, but I don't think it's ever been done in an album by album way like this. So what's made now the right time to finally say, for you, here's my version of the story?
Yeah, so this year's 50 years since the release of the first Ramones record.
Wow.
So I just felt like I wanted to do something special for the fans to celebrate their career. I mean, 50 years from the release of their first record, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction, listed as influences by every major band for the last 25 years, 30 years. It's I just felt like it'd be a nice thing to do for the fans and for myself, because one of the things we do on the show is we're doing what's called a deep dive series. So we're taking each record, the whole discography, chronological order, and then we do a breakdown and a deep dive on every record. We talk about the producer, the photographers who did the album cover artwork, the songwriting, the lyrics, who sang what songs, and we just get really into it. And the cool thing for me is being a Ramones geek when I was a kid, all the things when I was listening to the Ramones with my headphones on that I was thinking in my head, I now got to talk to everybody about. Because even when I was young, I realized I was a music geek beyond geek. So there was a lot of stuff I didn't talk to people about. But at this point, I think the fans, will enjoy it, and I definitely am.
So that first 1990 or 1976 album that came out 50 years ago, April 23rd, so almost exactly
Correct.
50 years ago. So you just mentioned you were a fan at the time. So when you were breaking down that album for the show, and you're doing it from this perspective now, what do you hear differently now that you're a Ramone rather than a fan?
That's a good question. What do I hear different? Well, I think, the record's been such a big influence on me long term, and I never really kind of separated myself from being a fan. Like even when I was in the band, I still remained a very big fan, and I don't allow my knowledge of the inner working of the band interfere with any of the love I had for them before I was there.
Right.
Because of course, when I got into the Ramones, I thought I was joining a gang. The Ramones to me were like a gang.
Yeah.
But
and you were a fan. You were a Marine. And then suddenly you're auditioning for Ramones, and when did it? So at one point you were just kind of jamming with them, and then when did it click in your head that you might actually be screwing up history if you don't do this right?
Yeah, that came really quick. Came really quick, and because I was such a fan, when I first started rehearsing with them, I knew I knew I couldn't be Dee Dee, and I never tried to be Dee Dee, you know what I mean? But I just tried to be the best version of myself that I could possibly be within the band. So I rehearsed. I learned 40 plus songs in 5 weeks.
Wow!
So I literally went from the Marine Corps to 5 weeks later stepping on stage to do my very first show with the Ramones.
You risked some serious trouble too with the Marines, and you actually got locked up, from what I understand.
It depends on what you consider serious, but I was definitely in custody.
And was that because you were disobeying your orders as a Marine?
I was a deserter, absolutely, 100%. I was a deserter. That's the bottom line to it. And I actually found out I got the gig with the Ramones while I was still in custody, because I had gone through the whole process, and I was in Quantico, Virginia, in custody, and the corporal on duty was like, "Hey Ward, you got a phone call." So I was like, "Oh, it's my mother. She's gonna be crying," And I pick up the phone here, "Chris, yeah, it's Johnny Ramone." I was like, "Oh man." I go, "Johnny, listen, I'm really sorry. I should have told you what was going on." He's like, "Well, what's going on?" I said, I got a couple years left on my contract, but there's a new commandant coming in from the Marine Corps, and they're just cleaning the book. So I'll be out here in a couple months." And he was like, "All right, well, do your time. And when you get out, you got a job." And I was what?
I think you made the right choice, though. You did.
Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah, 100%. No regrets. Me, no regrets.
My brothers from the Marine Corps would have kicked my ass all the way back to New York had I not done what I did. So
it's interesting too. The Ramones have kind of like a uniform and discipline that almost is military, and you go from being in the military to this kind of punk military. So, is there a Ramones rule that annoyed you at first, but then made sense later, or did you just immediately dive in?
I was, just coming out of the military. So I was just like, you tell me the job you need me to do. What's the parameters? What's my mission? I'm good to go. And
what were some of those parameters that they gave you? Like,
so
of course,
no drinking or drugging before the show. You can do whatever you want afterwards. Just don't let it interfere with the show. Be on time when we're supposed to be in the lobby to leave. Make sure you're down there on time, or when we're leaving New York City to drive or whatever, make sure you're on time all the time. Conduct yourself like a Ramone. When I got into the band, Johnny told me, he's like, listen, we're going to be meeting other bands. You're probably going to meet a lot of people that you grew up listening to. Don't fanboy out. Remember, you're a Ramone and you're meeting them as a peer and not as a fan to a rock star. So, there were things like that Johnny, but nothing
that's solid advice, though. That's just really good advice for anybody in your position. And I think, if that's actually, I don't know, it sounds good to me and pretty reasonable. So you eventually took the name, of course, CJ Ramone. And what did that name give you, and what did it cost you when you changed your name? Anything?
No, the name CJ actually, because I was still wearing my dog tags when I was going to the auditions and stuff, and that's actually where CJ came from, Christopher Joseph. That was what was on my dog tags, right? Your dog tags got your first and middle initial and your last name, so CJ was on my tags. So that's how I ended up with the name CJ. But I have only benefited from having the Ramones. Being associated with the Ramones, and the only time it's stressful is post Ramones doing my own music, because that was intimidating. Because for the first 2 records I put out under CJ Ward, just because they were so far removed from what the Ramones are doing. It was it was a different type of music. And then eventually I started putting records out of CJ Ramone, but that's that's when anything I do musically now, everyone's, like, oh, it's one of the Ramones, So I got to try to live up to that as best I can.
Right. Yeah. And when you were first learning Ramone songs, they are short. You mentioned earlier you learned 40 of them in a short period of time. Which one is the most deceptively difficult to play?
Oh, that's good. Which one is the most deceptively difficult to play?
Because everybody
We're a Happy Family's got a weird time thing in it, and a couple of part changes that I had problems with. But most of the problems I had came more from some of the songs being so similar. I'd be playing the intro to Rock and Roll High School and go into Rock and Roll Radio. You know what I mean? Like, some of them were real close in the chord structures. And so in the beginning, when I had I was juggling all those songs, I had some issues like that. But for me, I came from a heavy metal background. So I was like more of a technical player early on, and I had never played with a pick. And that was the toughest thing, was to learn how to do all downstrokes.
Right. You can
but
play
the songs
them,
themselves, because I knew them all already in my head, I could hum them in my sleep. It wasn't hard for me to get them all down.
What was it like? How would you guys as a band create a set list? Was it pretty structured?
Yeah, that was Johnny. Johnny was masterful at that. He knew how to put the songs in an order that had like this flow to it, where we'd come out and with Durango 95, boom, it's like an explosion, and take it right to the top and maintain that for a little while, and then slow it down a little bit, give people a chance to rest, people in the pit, and then boom, explode again, and just go all the way to the end.
Right.
But that's a skill, being able to build a set list like that.
Yeah, to have that flow with it, and the best rock shows you go to do have that. It's a ride. It's a roller coaster ride that you're on. And a lot of bands learned fast, loud, and short from Ramones, but I think a lot of even younger bands or up and coming bands, they kind of miss out on the humor and the discipline behind the band. Yeah. So what do you think is one thing that Ramones did that younger bands don't steal enough these days?
The Ramones were influenced by like some of the greatest rock and roll ever recorded, right? They were influenced by everything from Elvis to the Rolling Stones, and then Iggy and the Stooges, the MC5, and everything in between. But they were always, and this speaks to the humor that you're talking about, they were also influenced by movies. They were influenced by writers. They were influenced by a lot of different art that all came together, right? So it was basically the youth culture reaching back to the 50s, 60s, and early 70s. So their music encompassed all of that. They took the best from the early days of rock and roll, which was the stripped down, the whole stripped down thing to it. And then they took all the really nice melodic stuff from the 60s girl groups and all of that. That was Joey. He really loved all that stuff. And then they added in, stuff from horror movies and teenage exploitation films, and they added in all this other stuff, and that's what made the Ramones great. I feel like a lot of musicians now, they're only influenced by music, like they think that's the only place where that they're trying to recapture what some of the bands back then did. And I feel like it's a problem in general when you want to be retro, like when you're striving to be retro. We're so in love with our past, America. We're so in love with everything post World War II. Well, really from World War II onwards, right? We're so in love with our past, and I think, which is great. You know what I mean? We should be. But I think the problem is that we're getting caught in this loop of just trying to reinvent a lot of stuff that was done before. And while I'd love to, I love hearing kids that sound like the Ramones and pull influence from them, I'd love to hear them kind of find a different way to express that type of stuff.
Right. That makes sense. That makes sense. Just a couple more questions.
Am I going too deep?
No. We like it when it's interesting. Yeah. So I do appreciate you taking the time to answer these questions. So again, CJ Ramone has a podcast, CJ Says. We'll make sure we talk about that a bit more in a second. But first, a question that I thought was kind of interesting. You've made like a lot of big life decisions based on what matters off stage, including you turned down a shot with Metallica, and that was because of your son's needs. And your bio notes your autism work and your advocacy there. So after a lifetime in music associated with rebellion, what does responsibility mean to you now?
Oh, yeah. To me, I grew up, my family was always very family oriented, like a really tight family. I got 3 sisters and, that I'm still close with and stuff. But even my groups of friends and stuff, I've hung out with the same guys since I first moved to Long Island from Queens. I got the same group of friends, So when my boy was diagnosed with autism, well, first off, I got to say, I waited until the Ramones retired to have kids. I wanted to start a family years before, but I was on the road. I didn't have money in the bank. I knew it wasn't a smart thing to do. So I waited till the Ramones retired and started a family right away. So I already had traveled the world, and I've been in the military. I've been in a famous rock band. I had already done so much stuff, So I was like, yeah, family, makes most sense now. So my boy, my oldest, was born and diagnosed with autism, right at the classic 15-month, 16-month time frame. And I tried to continue on with the band that I was working with at the time, my own band, but I realized there was no way I could do it. I couldn't leave my son's mom home alone with him. And so I just packed it in and stayed home and took care of my son for a bunch of years, and then my middle child also. But I ended up as a single dad. I was a single dad for a while, and I was back in the workforce. I was working in as an operating engineer in Manhattan. I worked down at Ground Zero after 9/11. Yeah, just trying to take care of the people around me and take care of my own responsibilities, the things that I was directly responsible for. I think that's important, and a lot of the stuff that you do when you're young, all you celebrate rebellion and bucking the system and everything else. But when you get older, for me anyway, it was more trying to afford that opportunity to my kids. I gotta be the guy that does the right thing all the time, so they can grow up in a good way with everything they need and do what they want to do and everything. So
you have to give them something to rebel against later.
Yes, yeah. My youngest one right now, my 16-year-old, I walk into the room and she gets aggravated. You know what I mean? So,
right.
So
how's your son doing these days?
My son now, he's totally independent adult, lives, has his own apartment, works full-time jobs, got a nice girlfriend that he's serious with. He's got a good life, but
it's those early years that are pretty challenging from what I understand.
Yeah. Because he was nonverbal. He was, he was really a lot of work, but I put the time in, me and my wife, and his doctors and his teachers and everybody, we made sure he was getting a fair shake everywhere. We put the time in and I didn't take the gig with Metallica, because he had been diagnosed just around the same time. And I turned it down because, his doctor told me, you want him to have the best shot, right? That's what you want for him. Then you got to make sure you're there every day for him. You get him up for school in the morning. You cook his dinner for him, and you got to spend all your time with him. And that's why I turned Metallica down. And I know it sounds like a big thing. I definitely could have used it. When I saw the kid that they hired get the $1 million check at the press conference, I was like, damn it, that's my check. But
now, so did you had that gig locked in 100%?
Yeah.
No way. And then what an admirable thing and respectable thing to do, though, and I admire that a lot.
Yeah, but listen, what I'm telling you though, if it's your child, I like to think that most people would make the same decision. You know what I mean? And I went to his doctor and I said to his doctor, look, here's I can go play for this band. They're offering me $1 million just to join. I can hire the best doctors and everything else. And he's like, where's he going to live? I was like, well, he'll be on the tour bus a lot, and the doctor was like, okay, where's the stability coming from there? I said, well, I'll be there every day. He's like, yeah, it don't work like that.
Yeah, money can't buy everything. And it can't buy time. It can't buy your attention. Not. And you made you made the right choice. Of course, I don't need to tell you that, but I feel that you made the choice any respectable man would make. So
I agree. And that's a big thing to me, because I'm sure there are lots of people out there who would be like, honey, I'm going on the road. You take care of the kids. I'll send the checks back, Yeah. But I didn't want to be that dad. I didn't want to be the dad who sends birthday cards from the road and Christmas cards and everything else. So.
It reminds me a lot of the actor Rick Moranis. How do you say his name? Rick Moranis. Rick Moranis. I think in the 94 or something like that, his wife passed away, and he was at the height of his career, and he could have gone on and acted, but he instead took 20 years off to raise his kids, and that's why we haven't seen him around very much. So it's kind of a similar thing. So it's a thing when you're in the entertainment industry. Like, it's a thing. It'll devalue your entire life if you allow it to. You know what I mean? But I've tried to maintain a good balance between my family and my
career. And
Cool.
and even after everything was said and done, I ended up back out on the road playing music again and doing what I dig doing. I play with Spike and the Gimme Gimmes now. We just finished a record. You know, we spent most of last year on tour. So it's not like I blew my big shot. Being in Metallica would have been awesome, definitely. But I played in the Ramones.
Right. Yeah.
You know
I
what
mean,
I
you
mean?
were already in the biggest band of all time. So
Yeah.
above Metallica, I would even argue. But I'm a huge Metallica fan too. But
Me
yeah.
too.
I mean, who isn't? But
Does your children know that you gave up that opportunity?
No, I never really discussed it with them or anything. And I don't think my kids have no interest in my career at all, like none.
they don't play. They're not into music or anything, or they're in other.
They have
other interests?
no interest at all, none
Interesting.
whatsoever.
Do they have the similar music taste to, like, do they like the Ramones?
Yeah, they all like the Ramones. They're not
Metallica?
like huge fans or anything, but
Ramones.
if you
fit
walk
that.
in my house, you would never know I was in the Ramones. There's nothing. The only thing musical in my house is like my musical equipment and a piano downstairs, but there's no gold and platinum records on my wall and nothing like that. You would never know that I even played music unless you walked in the garage and saw my gear.
Oh wow. That's cool to stay humble like that. I mean, like somebody in your position could be a real a-hole about it, but you seem like a very grounded guy. So
well,
cool.
I'm lucky. I got into the Ramones after I had worked. I worked in a military aircraft factory right out of school. I worked every crappy pushing carts at the supermarket, and I worked all kinds of crappy jobs, and then was in the Marine Corps before I got into a famous touring band, right? So my personality was already kind of set. I already was who I was going to be, Right. So I think it's a lot of grow up who are who grow up only in that way. They've been rock stars from jump, and
right. It creates monsters.
Yes,
but
it can.
It definitely can. CJ says the name of the podcast, and go listen to it, subscribe to it. CJ Ramone is hosting it with his co-host, and they're digging into all of the Ramones albums and going in depth with them. And if you're any sort of fan like we are here, you're gonna love this show. And we can't wait to see you at the Punk Rock Museum. I'm sure you're in and out of there all the time. So are we.
Yeah.
So we'll see you out there. Melanie over there set this up. So, but thank you, CJ. Anything else that you want to mention while you're here? Make sure we plug for you, or
just I got to mention my co-host Matt Stocks. He's the guy who's he's my producer too. That's been making it all happen. And we've got some. We've interviewed some really cool people. We just put up the interview with Duff McKagan from Guns N' Roses. Mm-hmm. Really, really great interview. Really good guy.
And he says that the Ramones were one of his big influences, which is crazy to think about. The Ramones influenced Guns N' Roses. So
yep.
Yeah. Crazy. All right. Well, thank you. It's so cool to talk to you. Definitely a big part of the history of punk and alternative and rock and everything. And it's just an honor to speak with you. So thank you for coming on our show. We really appreciate you.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Okay.
Good talking with you.
Good talking with you too. We'll be right back.
It's news to us with Eddie and Jason.
We're back, Jason. All right. We just had a real life living legend on the show.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah, one of the Ramones. My God, that was cool.
Yeah, a lot of respect. What a down to earth guy too. Like, what a cool guy.
What a really cool guy. He's like one of those guys that you want to just like grab a beer with and learn life from.
Yeah, like a mentor.
Yeah,
he'd be I feel like he'd be a great mentor.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Well, it was awesome that he took the time to hang out and chat with us for a while.
Yeah. Well, should we get into some lighter stuff like entertainment news?
Oh, entertainment. What? I don't know.
You had something else? Yeah.
I have something else, like a bit of good news before we jump into entertainment news.
Is important.
Good news is important. And I don't know if you saw this, but there's a MIT study that just came out saying that the ozone layer is repairing itself, and they expect it to fully recover by 2066.
Drill, baby, drill. I wonder if that's part of the whole drill, baby, drill thing. You think maybe the conspiracy theory hat now is, do you think that the oil industry paid off somebody at MIT to release that study?
Maybe. I don't know, but
I've heard this before.
Yeah, a lot of countries are, most, the Paris Act agreement or the Paris Agreement, like, most countries are on this, like reducing their emissions. I think it's working.
Elon Musk has done a lot for us too.
Look what happens when we all come together and work towards something.
Isn't it amazing?
Wow.
Isn't that just fantastic? Okay, let's see what's happening.
Good leadership.
Good leadership. Let's see what's happening in entertainment news. Yeah, let's see. Anything else? Any other good news?
I mean, I think that's that was the big good news story of the week I had.
That was good. No, I like that. I do like good news. It's important because so much of the media, like us, is negative. Right.
Well, that's human conditioning, right? We always focus on the negative, not the good.
Yeah, we start the show with the worst things in the world happening, but there are a lot of good things happening.
And then we bury the good news later on.
Right. That's what you do. If it bleeds, it leads, we like to say in this industry. So, yeah.
The 411 on the 405. When Hollywood fucks up, we're there.
I'm a celebrity in an emergency.
That's right. I am minutes away from the Hollywood sign here, reporting on what's happening in Hollywood. That's right. Devil Wears Prada 2 came out over the weekend, and I've never seen the first one, and I don't.
You never saw the first one?
Is it good?
Yeah. Yeah.
Really? I don't know. I'm just not interested in it.
Yeah, the wife had me watch it. Like a year ago.
So you want to see the second one?
I haven't seen the second one. The wife went and saw it. Her and her girlfriends went and saw it over the weekend, and
what'd they say? What was their review?
Her review wasn't the best.
Okay.
It didn't matter. It's like any other sequel, right?
Yeah.
It just you can never recapture what the original does.
And speaking of that, House of the Dragon on HBO is just set season 3 release date. So House of the Dragon is going to be coming out with season 3 on June 22nd on HBO Max. Again, this is set 200 years before Game of Thrones. 8-episode season is going to bring us more incestuous family drama.
Ooh, you haven't even seen Game of Thrones.
No, and I'm not going to see House of the Dragon either. I don't care.
No?
Are you going to watch?
You're never going to do it. You're never. Game of Thrones?
House of the Dragon.
No, I haven't.
Why? I thought you liked Game of Thrones.
I just haven't. I always forget about it. There's just so much out there,
It's too much.
There's just too much out there.
Don't you ever get annoyed at how many things there are to watch?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Did you see Steven Spielberg? What he said? He had some remarks over the weekend at CinemaCon. Did you see this?
I did not. Steven Spielberg at CinemaCon, huh?
Yeah, he's heavily criticized Hollywood's reliance on intellectual property, sequels and remakes, saying that the industry is going to run out of gas without more original storytelling. Yeah. So he's knocking all of, you have the Marvel universe, and you have all these remakes. Devil Wears Prada 2, Toy Story 5's coming out this summer. There's nothing. Yeah. We're more and more, it's not original, right? We're not seeing original storylines, and it's all rehashing the same things. So I see his point.
Yeah, and I think I actually have the clip of Steven Spielberg over at CinemaCon. Here is what he had to say. Is this the clip? Let's see.
Steven Spielberg just warned Hollywood it will run out of gas unless it makes one.
The same thing that you just said. Maybe they didn't have any video of it.
Actual video of him doing it, or his actual statement. But
yeah,
I mean, he's not wrong though, Eddie. I mean, what do you think? You're a big movie buff nowadays. Like,
yeah,
I
mean, I 100% agree with Steven Spielberg because when you look at the release schedule for the rest of the year, it's probably 90% sequels, and a lot of these sequels are getting up to like 5 and 6 and 7. Like there's a Scary Movie 6 coming out.
Oh my God.
The same month as Jackass 5, which I'm excited about the Jackass 5. Don't get me wrong about that. That's a different kind of genre for me. But but as far as like other movies go, it is kind of like Fast and Furious 12, like another Star Wars.
Fast and Furious. They kind of started this trend, I feel.
The sad thing is that I'm actually excited about some of this stuff, like the Mandalorian movie. I'm excited about.
Yeah, so am I.
I want to see that one.
Yeah, we'll have to go together because the wife doesn't want to see it.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll have to tag along with you guys.
Also, Jackass. You got to see Jackass.
Jackass. Yeah,
there's a new Jackass.
Is Bam back?
Yeah, they got him. They dug up Bam. I guess he's in some of the footage, but
Bam's back. All right.
So they shot some footage with Bam for Jackass 4 that they didn't use because he had a drug problem or something.
Yeah.
So they're going to use some of that footage in Jackass 5.
Oh,
so it's never before seen new Bam footage.
Oh, but Bam's not actively with the Jackass crew.
No, but he got paid.
Oh, all right.
He got paid, but he decided that his feelings were hurt because they pushed him out of Jackass 4 in the middle of production. But he agreed to the paycheck for Jackass 5 to use the footage.
All right. Well.
But,
Yeah, a lot of sequels. Yeah. It's just... Yeah, I agree with our good friend Steven's comments.
Yeah, our colleague.
Yeah. I'll have to tell him next time we have dinner with him.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think we've been saying that for years, though, Eddie. Like, I think we're all feeling that. I think that's a common thing. I don't know if it's the same feeling or sentiment in Hollywood. You're there, like, you're a man on the street. Like, how's it? What are people saying there?
They're saying matcha. I want matcha. Give me matcha.
Oh my God. Are you a big matcha fan? Do you like matcha?
I'm not. I've never been a big matcha guy. Give me a goddamn cup of coffee. I don't need this matcha nonsense. I like matcha, but it's become overly popular for what it is.
Well, we'll see what Hollywood does, but I think they're going to try to get a quick buck.
Well, when Hollywood fucks up, we're there. That's all we know. Yeah. So. Yeah. Okay, real quickly, how about we end with sports? They always end with sports on these news shows that we're imitating. Excuse me. We're intimidating them with our
prowess.
Imitation.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that there's a lot of activity right now with the Colorado Avalanche.
Yeah, Avalanche. Round 2 of the Stanley Cup playoffs underway.
Round 2 of the Stanley Cup playoffs underway. So, and how many games are left?
For the series, or how many teams are left?
Yes, both, I guess.
Well, this was the Avalanche Wild series. That was the first game. So it could go anywhere from 4 to 7. We'll see. It's a best of 7.
Best
series.
of 7.
Yep.
Okay. And where are we right now?
We finished the first game.
So if we win 4, we got this.
We win 4, and then we're in the Western Conference Finals. So round 2, there are 8 teams left, all playing to go into the conference finals. Then the winners of those 2 finals will go to the Stanley Cup final.
So this is like the pre-playoffs.
No, this is playoffs.
But if I were to compare it to football, it's sort of like, they have 1 round of playoffs.
This is like divisional round.
It's like divisional round. Okay.
It's like second week of playoffs if you're looking at the NFL.
Right.
If you're basing it off the NFL. Same with the NBA. NBA's they're in round 2 of the race for the NBA Finals. And
Okay.
big news out of there is Ant-Man, Anthony Edwards, coming back. He's been cleared medically to come back for the Minnesota Timberwolves.
What happened?
He had a bone knee bruise, and he left the game 9 days ago. And they were thinking he would come back later in this series against the Spurs, but apparently he's been cleared to come back, and he could be playing tonight if he's cleared. If he passes warm up, but they tip off in about half an hour.
Okay. Well, yeah, we'll see what happens there.
Yeah, so that's big news.
Yeah, it's exciting. Okay, before we say goodbye for the show, why don't we just check in real quick with 95-year-old William Shatner. Here's what he said at a recent panel.
How quickly it's over.
He's talking about life.
How quickly it's over. My God. If you think from the time you're born to maybe the age of 10, you're kind of unconscious. What's for breakfast? I gotta go. I'm meeting John. And you don't think about anything deeper. And then slowly it creeps up on you as you enter your teen. Hey, wait a minute. Mommy and Daddy might not be. And then as you get older, you realize, until about, what, 60, 70? Most people.
Is he okay? That's what I want to know. This is kind of depressing, but go ahead, William Shatner.
Start to live within, and that consciousness of life is about 50 years. We have about 50 years to appreciate with passion the life around us. And that's what the sentence, the potential sentence of death can give you. You can hide your face, go into a corner, and melt. Or you can say, everybody's going to die, and this world is so beautiful. This world has such beauty to it, even in its pain. And that's the way I choose to live.
There you go. William Shatner. Thank you. Bill. Christ.
Man, he's kind of like America's grandpa.
95 years old. Yeah, he's like sitting on the rocking chair yelling at me about how to live.
If he's 95, like, he's looking pretty good.
No, he does look great. And he has a good point. Life is fast. It goes by very fast. So please enjoy it. Live with passion, he says.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't take things for granted.
Absolutely. And we don't take anything for granted here. We appreciate everybody listening. Appreciate you, Jason. Thank you for a great show.
Appreciate you, Eddie.
Got our pens.
Appreciate the pens.
Yep. And we will be back again next time on It's News to Us.
I used to say, Tim, you got to start doing it over here, and you really have. I mean, you've really put a big investment in our country. We appreciate it very much, Tim Apple. But
Give it up for Adobe, everybody.
Support for this podcast comes from Progressive, America's #1 boat insurer. We've all made mistakes on the water, but there's one mistake you shouldn't make: being uninsured. With Progressive Boat Insurance, you can choose coverage for most mistakes you or other boaters could make, helping you float carefree all season long. Quote today: Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. #1 rating based on 2024 filings with state departments of insurance.